Nonprofit legal service agency, the Florida Immigrant Advocacy Center, known today as Americans for Immigrant Justice, was founded by Cheryl Little, Sister Maureen Kelleher, and Sister Catherine Cassidy. FIAC was established in anticipation of an anti-immigrant law that would prevent federally funded legal service agencies from representing most immigrants unless they were already legal. The law passed, and in 1996, FIAC inherited 3,000 cases that South Florida agencies could no longer take. Shortly after FIAC opened their doors, staff learned that Mexican girls brought here by their traffickers had been held captive in South Florida migrant camps for over 18 months. They were forced to serve 130 men a week, were beaten and raped. Staff worked closely with the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office to help ensure successful prosecution of the abusers. The case became a model for the U.S. Department of Justice.
I've been to Washington, D.C. 4 times and testified in front of senators and congressmen to help women and children who have the same problem that I had, and to let people know what is happening in this country. Thanks to FIAC for taking my case, now I have a better life and working. If this organization didn't exist to help women who have been abused, we could not get out of our situation.
FIAC's involvement in the Kadena human trafficking case was invaluable. Since Lucha was launched, staff have successfully represented clients forced into modern-day slavery in high-profile cases ranging from indentured servitude to sexual slavery in the fields of South Florida. In 2000, 6-year-old Fega arrived at Miami alone after being abandoned by her parents and spent 15 months in immigration detention. FIAC met her when she appeared alone in court, took her case, and won. After her release from detention, Fega joined FIAC at a U.S. Senate hearing to call attention to the plight of children like her in immigration detention.
This is Nightline.
And Cheryl Little, can you help me out?
The same agency that's trying to deport the child is determining what's in the child's best interest.
Children who arrive here alone seeking protection have no right to a free attorney, even though a government lawyer argues for their removal. Without the Children's Legal Program, thousands of children each year would be forced to navigate their court case alone.
The children are fleeing horrific gang violence. They're fleeing drug cartels. Many of the children have been abused, abandoned, or neglected by their families and have nowhere to go for protection.
After 9/11, Haitian asylum seekers were indefinitely detained on the basis of a secret government policy claiming that releasing Haitians would pose a serious risk to our country's national security. Middle Eastern immigrants were also scapegoats in the War on Terror. AI Justice successfully represented several Chrome detainees whose court hearings were closed to the public and whose cases did not even appear on court dockets.
I learned about FIAC through a delegation that was visiting the Chrome. One of the people actually knew Cheryl Little and FIAC and all the great work that they have done, and I really can't thank them enough. They actually reopened my case, and they actually won my asylum in February 2005. If there is anything wonderful would have happened to me, I would say that FIAC came into my life.
For 25 years, AI Justice has successfully filed lawsuits challenging unfair and unconstitutional immigration laws and policies. In 2007, staff led the charge to ensure that lawful permanent residents were no longer subjected to lengthy, unlawful delays in the adjudication of their citizenship applications. As a result of the class action, FIAC clients obtained citizenship and new policies were adopted, resulting in systemic change.
I can vote, I can share all of the rights of as a U.S. citizen, and I'm very happy and I'm very proud of FIAC.
This story. This is a large earthquake. The damage potential is significant.
Breaking news tonight, this disaster that is currently unfolding in Haiti.
One of the orphanages we went to had 200 babies and serious problems because they're lacking all the basic supplies.
On January 12, 2010, a catastrophic 7.0 earthquake destroyed much of Haiti. More than 3 million people were affected and more than 100,000 people died. Peterson was trapped there for 4 days. His little brother died instantly.
I remember like it was yesterday, the moment when a group of Marines came and they had this young boy on a stretcher. And it was like a movie. Even the words they used, they said, "Hey, Doc, we got one for you."
Sometimes I feel like I'm playing a character, being a colored immigrant in society today. It's hard, but we fight through it, we live through it, and we have a lot to give. I am an American in everywhere except for the papers. I remember when I heard about AI justice, I was really happy that I could have somebody to help me with the situation, to help me figure out a solution to the problem. I have a dream. That's it.
AI Justice is recognized as one of the leading organizations in the country working to protect Haitian refugees' basic rights.
It was so important to be here as we recognize the accomplishments of these incredibly courageous kids. Gabby, Carlos, Juan, and Felipe have done this in order to call attention for the urgent need for Congress to pass the DREAM Act and enact sensible immigration reform. They felt they had no choice, and they continued to put one foot in front of the other until they reached their goal. As Felipe put it, and I'm quoting, "We are risking our future because our present is unbearable." Brought to the United States by their families years ago, the United States is the only country they call home.
Effective immediately, the Department of Homeland Security is taking steps to lift the shadow of deportation from these young people.
Americans for Immigrant Justice played a critical role in the passage of Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, DACA, a program that grants temporary relief from removal to dreamers. While DACA was life-changing, without permanent legal residency, these amazing youth still fear removal and are unable to plan for their futures. The Family Defense Program was launched after the 2017 election to provide more outreach to families anxious about being torn apart. Together with the Children's Legal Program, they played a prominent role working to reunite families. Many of the children who were forcibly separated from their parents at the border were transferred to South Florida facilities. AI Justice has been the only agency authorized by the federal government to provide free legal help to children held in local government-run shelters.
En los Estados Unidos hay reglas, pero tienen un nombre diferente. Estas reglas se llaman leyes y todos tenemos que seguirlas.
The U.S. government is actually expecting these children as young as 18 months, unable to speak, to represent themselves in court against the government attorney.
Cuando cruzaste la frontera, hablaron con inmigración, me dijeron que sí, ¿no? ¿Cómo te sentiste? Poco preocupado, me imagino, sí.
¿Alguien sabe lo que es un derecho? ¿Me lo puede explicar?
Yo.
Sí.
A comer.
Derecho a comer, a la comida, muy bien.
A dormir, a jugar, a estudiar.
Informed by the first-hand experiences of clients and staff, AI Justice authors groundbreaking reports that expose abuse and injustice against immigrants, while offering recommendations for reform. AI Justice's report, Do My Rights Matter, was based on interviews in 2019 with over 9,000 children who were detained by CBP under dreadful conditions at the Southwest Texas border. For 25 years, AI Justice staff has faced many challenges, including constantly changing immigration laws and the serious erosion of immigrants' basic rights. Americans for Immigrant Justice will continue to work tirelessly to save lives and promote immigration policies that reflect America's ideals. The work is not done. Now, more than ever, we need your continued support to keep the fight on behalf of children and families. We are ready for the next 25.